All right, continuing on session 14. This is a follow-up to Mark 13 in these end time events. Well, we were touching back at Daniel 12 because he references Daniel, and uh, also this Daniel passage we were covering last time, Daniel 12, and this desolation that's coming, and the scattering of the power of the holy people. Uh, yeah, the mightiest people on earth, USA, are going to be scattered, all right, nuked in one day. I covered that earlier in the Daniel 9 uh, and 8 sessions. But Revelation says a similar thing, and that's what's being described here in Mark 13. Revelation 17:16 says, "The 10 horns which you saw upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate," speaking of the whore Babylon, the United States of America, that turned against her God. "And shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire." So this is what's coming up between now and July, end of July 2014, and kicking off the tribulation time. Well, those 10 horns, those are the 10 powers that are going to join together underneath this beast, which I think is Prince Charles over there. And yeah, they're going to kick off their reign from 322, March 22nd, 2014. That's 42 months before the Messiah's return, and they're gonna make the USA desolate, desolate. Gonna burn it with fire, nuclear bomb fire in one day, and they'll pretend like it's a big surprise how we lost World War III in one day. Um, and Revelation 17:17 goes on and says, "For God has put it in their hearts to fulfill His will, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of God shall be fulfilled. And the woman which you saw is that great city, which reigneth over the kings of the earth." Well, the greatest city in the world now is New York, and it certainly reigns over the kings of the earth, the United Nations over there. And so this is what's going to come to pass, and it starts with this abomination of this beast and these 10 nations that are ruling, the secret handshake club guys. Well, back to Mark 13. It says there that in verse 14, "But when you shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand where it ought not, let him that read understands, and let them that be in Judea flee into the mountains." I think he's talking about that it starts to rule for 42 months. And if it starts, Mark 322, the Skull and Bones guys, they really like that date, 322. That's when they put up the Georgia Guidestones, too. That was on March 22nd, 1980. Well, that 42 months begins 42 months before trumpets is exactly 322 on 2014, and I think that's the abomination of desolation he's talking about. That beast government that takes over from over there, and Jerusalem's trodden underfoot. That's going to be what destroys America. This end time Babylon, and he puts it in their heart to do that. Well, when you see that come to pass over there, you're going to know. If on 322, on March 22nd of 2014, you see that beast government taking control, and you see Jerusalem trodden underfoot 42 months, and things that which is spoken of here by Daniel. Oh, then it's time to. He says it's time to go. It's time to flee into the mountains. And I think if you're in America, it's time to get out of America, for sure. If you waited till that long. Well, he goes on in verse 19. It says, "For in those days shall be affliction such as was not from the beginning of creation which God created unto this time, and neither shall be. And except that Yahuwah had shortened those days, no flesh should be saved alive." Well, that's what's coming. I mean, it's so hard to believe. Next year, this is all going to ramp up and take off, and the 3.5 years of that tribulation time are going to start. And that nuclear bomb war, when it torches off in one day, and 300 cities go up and get nuked in America, and then the rest of the world's going to go into a horrible tribulation, especially with America not around, and the dollar collapsed and gone, and the new beast government on the scene. It is just going to be horrific. It's going to be, you won't be able to believe it. Well, if you're alive. Most people listening to this in America probably won't be alive. After July of 2014, they'll get a few months to see that begin to reign, and Then it'll be real bad. Well, 13:24 goes on. This is from Mark 13:24. But in those days and after that tribulation, the sun shall be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven shall fall, and the powers that are in heaven shall be shaken. Then shall they see the Son of Man coming in the clouds with great power and glory. And he shall send his angels, and shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from the uttermost parts of the earth to the uttermost parts of heaven. Now, this is describing at the end of the 42-month period. So now he's fast forwarded to after the tribulation, after the 3.5 years, to 2017 in the fall. And he says the sun should be darkened, and we pointed out in a previous one that there's a full solar eclipse 1 month before the fulfillment of trumpets in September of 2017. And the moon shall not give her light. We covered that 2 weeks prior to that there's a lunar eclipse. And the stars that fall from heaven, we covered that that's the angels that are going to come with him. He says he's going to send his angels to collect those people from all the corners of the earth to put down this rule and all the rest of it first. And the powers that are in heaven shall be shaken, and then they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds with great power and authority. Well, that's where the sign comes from. All this is the timing of this, if you look back on that first chart that I have published, I'll bring it up here. You'll see that sign occurs on the 23rd. Well, that's the fulfillment of trumpets. That's his return he's talking about. There's the solar eclipse on 8/21/2017. The lunar eclipse on 8/7, right there. So those are the events he's talking about. And those angels returning on the 22nd with him. And we also covered why he's going to gather his elect from the four corners of the earth and from the four corners of heavens. Because they're all scattered all over. His people are scattered. Those people that are obedient and keeping his commandments and all of his statutes and all of his judgments, you've quit with your Sunday preachers and your corporate church preachers, and you've quit with the pagan holy days, and you've quit with the pagan marriage and pagan licenses, and you've quit with all the stuff we're doing here, and you've gone back to keeping the Sabbath, and you're trying to keep all of these laws. Well, then you're counted as his, and he watches over you. That's what it's all about. You've got to clean yourself up to be a bride of his. You can't just go along whoring. And but he'll scatter you. You'll get it in your heart to get out of here before you get killed, and you'll be ducking and dodging and covering from the beast government for 3.5 years, trying to make it without taking their mark after you can't use the dollar anymore and anything else. So. And you can't take their new beast mark, so it's going to be a 3.5 year period of trying to make it through this. And some are going to die, it says. It's another passage. But it's very fascinating. So this is what Mark 13 is talking about, and we're going to find out next time that Matthew 24 is talking about the same events and the same thing. And they describe these events. They describe first what happens at the beginning of this tribulation period in 3/22/2014. You see here the beast government, Jerusalem trodden underfoot, and America gets destroyed shortly thereafter, July 30th, 2014. Babylon's destroyed. And this is all right at the beginning. These blood moons all showing up. They're going to show up in March. 4/15/2014 is the first blood moon. And there's a tetrad coming up, 4 of them. And so that's what he's describing, the beginning and the end, all there in Mark 13. Next time we'll pick it up with Matthew 24. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.